Hello, A Taste of AZ podcast listeners. Before we get into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Somm Journal. When it comes to wine education, the Somm Journal is the leading print publication in the nation. They provide a behind-the-scenes look at who's who and who's drinking what. It's read by decision makers at restaurants and retail wine shops. So if you want to learn alongside the experts, send your subscription request to subscriptions@sommjournal.com. That's SOMM journal.com. Let's get into the episode.
All right, we are here on the patio at Vitrù
Honest Craft.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Vitrù Honest Craft. Yeah.
Vitrù, you say it a lot cooler than I do. This place is beautiful. Beautiful,
Thanks.
beautiful place.
Thank you.
In Old Town.
Yeah.
As you guys probably expect, and when you're watching the video, you're like, that has to be Old Town. This feels like Old Town.
Feels
It
like
doesn't.
south of
I was
France
kidding,
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for jumping on the podcast with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys are both legends of the Arizona food and beverage scene. We knew we were going to get Gio. Kelly, you're a bonus. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really do.
So, all right. Well, let's introduce yourselves. Who are you, and what do you do?
I'm Gio.
Keep it brief, Gio.
I'm Gio Osso. I am a chef of Vitrù Honest Craft, Piccolo Virtù, and Pizzeria Virtù. I make cold food hot. And that's pretty much what we both do, really.
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
sums it up.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
We make food.
who are you?
I'm Kelly Fletcher. I'm kind of overseeing Vitrù Honest Craft while Gio pulls out his glorious hair.
He does have some glorious hair.
He really does.
Yeah. I was asked. I said, "Are you good with headphones on?" Right? Because I mean, that looks very.
Gotta watch
sculpted.
the hair. Gotta watch the hair.
Well, and this is the first time meeting you, Gio. So
Yeah.
great to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as
and
well.
I met you briefly, Kelly, at
Yeah.
the wing throwdown. Adam
Right.
Allison did at Casey's Woodshed.
Yep.
Fantastic wing and cocktail
Yeah.
competition. And I was
Yeah,
a
sorry, I
judge.
missed that one, yeah.
Yeah. Are you a wing guy?
Yeah, I love wings.
Yeah?
Who
Would you
doesn't
been-
love wings?
Would you rather be a judge or a competitor in something like that?
I'd rather be a judge.
Okay, yeah.
I like to eat.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's where it all starts,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
exactly.
a love to eat. I don't think are there chefs out there who don't like to eat,
There's gotta be.
right?
Yeah.
There. I know some. I'll leave them nameless. That
Okay.
that definitely like. Oh, I don't like that. I don't eat that. It's pretty crazy. It's like what? You should eat everything, or at least try everything.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You know anybody like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've definitely. No, I mean, I've met young kids up and coming.
Oh, yeah.
That are definitely in that window of
Yeah. what
what I really like is chicken tenders and and it doesn't really go past that, and it's
Yeah.
very strange. You know?
That's true.
Interesting.
You just want to hug them and go, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, just shove like a oyster in their mouth or
Right.
something, right?
Oh yeah. No, I know quite a few people that are like, oh no, they don't do oysters. I'm like, what?
I eat everything.
Yes.
Everything except
Same.
for horseradish. But
Why not horseradish?
I don't know. There's just something it burns, and I just don't like the flavor
Really?
of it. However, if somebody like you guys made something and there's horseradish, I'm eating it.
Right,
For sure.
right.
I just generally do. It used to be onions. I didn't like onions. Now I love onions. So my list used to be like 3 things.
Right.
Now it's just 1. But there's an asterisk. Like I'll still
Right.
eat it. If you guys have
I
something
don't
with
think-
horseradish on there.
I don't think there's anything I won't
No.
eat.
No.
Oh yeah. No way.
No,
Yeah.
I think I like it all.
Yeah. Maybe I'm taking horseradish off the list after today, depending on what you guys give us. But no, this is a beautiful place. Very excited to have you guys both on the podcast. Like I said, Kelly, you were a bonus. It was very welcome. So very excited about this. But so let's kind of start with Gio.
Yeah.
Now you said you were born in far
Far left coast of Italy called New Jersey.
Jersey. Yeah, exactly. And I brought up you said you've been in Arizona for 22 years.
22 years this past September.
And
Yeah.
I brought up the World Series that the
You did.
Diamondbacks won.
That's great. Diamondbacks are in the World Series this year.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the last time they were in the World Series, though. You know,
So
my
we're moving
beloved
up from that.
Yankees.
So growing up, was food a big part of the family?
That's all it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, growing up in an Italian family, I spent every minute in the kitchen as a baby
Yeah.
in my high chair. You know, and I spent most of my summers in Italy.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
where
Actual
that's-
Italy,
actual,
not-
actual Italy, actual Italy in Calabria, Italy, and I mean that's just it's all about food.
Yeah.
You know, you're eating breakfast and you're talking about, okay, so what are we having for lunch?
Yeah.
You know, what are we having for dinner? I mean, you're already past what you're eating at that moment and saying, okay, we need to plan the next meal. You know,
And meal
yeah,
too, like
yes,
not
it's
like
not
we're
just,
gonna make a sandwich.
Yeah, no,
we're making sandwiches.
right, right. So, but yeah, my life was all about food.
Yeah.
So how can I not be in it?
Sure.
You know, when you're surrounded by it constantly.
Was it? My grandmother was Italian too, so same thing. Like I just grew up, and she owned our town restaurant, and it was a small town in Ohio. So like her Italian dishes were very minimal. It was people laugh at me now. I'm like, dude, we had chicken salads with French fries on it. Like that was like the Pittsburgh style,
Right,
salad.
right.
Like when I came out here and ordered like a chicken salad or a steak salad, I'm like, where are the
French
French
fries?
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone came with French fries, right? But so you had to appease the rural Ohio community. But I remember going to her house, like to her Italian dishes, and it was like as we were eating, we were excited about, all right, what's for dinner?
What's for dinner,
And
exactly.
she's always feeding me stuff, and it was just incredible. So for you, was there a business aspect of food, or was it just like just at family time, like did
Family
people,
time.
Okay,
It was all family time.
Nobody
yeah.
owned restaurants or
No,
anything
no.
like that. Okay.
I mean, my dad worked in produce in like
Okay.
supermarkets.
Oh, okay.
And so we always had amazing produce. And then because he worked in supermarkets, things like that, you know, he's friends with the butcher, so
Yeah.
you get the best meat. You know,
Yeah.
the fish guy get the best fish. So I mean, we had the best of everything when it came to food.
Yeah.
You know, we had access to really good stuff. So that's pretty much where it came from. You know,
Okay.
respecting the quality that we put on the table.
Sure.
You know, was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so how did it turn from? Did you have a path as a kid? Like, did you like, I'm going to be center fielder for the Yankees, or I'm going to
Yeah, I wanted to be. Well, not everybody's going to know what this is though, but I wanted to be center forward for the New York Cosmos, which was the ultimate soccer team back in the late '70s, early '80s. I'm dating myself and how old I am, but I wanted to be Giorgio Canaglio, so you guys can look it up on Google if you want. But yeah, I wanted to be a pro soccer player in the worst way.
Yeah.
You know, and I still do.
Yeah.
You know, and
Still a chance, man. Still a
I have a
chance. With
chance.
hair like that, dude.
I don't
you
know
can do
about
anything
that.
you want.
With a body like this, yeah, I could be on the bench. But yeah, I wanted to be a soccer player. That was my biggest thing. That was my first love.
Okay.
You know, then I moved into music, and then I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to be him.
Yep.
You know, and then food was always around.
Sure.
In that whole time. So when I struck out at the other two, I was
Yeah.
like, all right, well, let me go to my backup, which is
Yeah.
food, and here I am.
Yeah. So where did that go? Like, where did you start like as a dishwasher somewhere
Yeah,
locally?
yeah. I mean, you know, working in the restaurant that was like 3 blocks away from my house. It was a little small pizzeria, and just going in there, washing dishes, preparing salads, bussing tables, doing all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and just being around it and saying, "Hey, I want to learn how to do this, and this seems like a lot of fun." So
Yeah.
it just took it from there. You know,
Yeah.
And it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride.
Self-trained as far as like at that aspect of just kind of
In the beginning,
immersing yourself.
yeah, in the beginning, you know, you're just watching. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then you go to culinary school and you get that under your belt, and then you come out of culinary school and realize you don't know anything.
Sure.
You know, I can cut a carrot and I can
Yeah.
make a small diced carrot. Woo!
Yeah.
But I can't cook for anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to keep it PG. But you know, and then I worked in many different restaurants for free to learn.
Yeah.
You know, while I had my job, obviously. But on my days off, on my vacation time, I would go work in other restaurants just to learn, because I wanted to be well-rounded. I didn't want to just be, okay, he's the Italian guy. He's
Sure.
the Italian chef. You know, no, I wanted to learn, new American cuisine, which was hot at that time in the early 90s, or, Japanese cuisine, whatever it was, I wanted to sink my teeth into it and be like, I want to learn this.
Yeah.
So, and I think by me doing that for the few years that I did do that, it really did make me a well-rounded chef in understanding ingredients.
Yeah.
But when that was all said and done, that's when I was like, okay, I got a good idea about everything, but now I need to follow my roots. Now I need to go delve into where I came from. What is that all about? How does that, what are these ingredients,
Yeah.
And so that's when I really took to my Italian roots and really tried to learn and understand that.
Yeah. And that's it's a diverse cuisine, right? Like
It
people
is.
think of red sauce and pasta. And,
Sure,
and that's what I
sure.
think of, because
Right.
I love, like, dude, you
Right.
can give me red sauce and melted cheese. I'll just eat that.
Right.
If that's the
Right.
soup of the
Right.
sort,
Right.
I would eat that. But there's so much more to, well, you know Adam. Do you know Adam Allison?
I know him, but I'm not like. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I can't call him. I don't have his cell number.
We'll call him right now. We're gonna get him. We're gonna
Yeah, I know
text
you
him.
know him.
Yeah.
I don't know him like that, but yeah.
Great dude.
Yep.
And he went to Italy for, I think he said 2 or 3 weeks a month or so ago, and he just talked about
Actually,
how
didn't he get engaged while he was
Yeah,
there?
that's what he
That's right.
Yeah, I
He
saw,
did.
I saw that on Facebook. We're Facebook friends,
Yeah.
but
There you
yeah.
go.
Well, congrats, dude.
Yeah, no, Adam's a great dude, and I was like, dude, how was Italy? He's like, dude, it was awesome. He's like, and what was cool is every region had its own cuisine. You
Yep.
know, it's not like just this, narrow.
It's even more than that, though.
Yeah.
It's even more than that. Every household has its own cuisine.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They might be doing the
Yeah.
same thing, but they'll do it completely different from each other.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I spent a month there this past summer myself, and it just brought back everything, you know, and it was incredible. And then my wife and kids, all the stuff I've been telling them for years and years and years, they finally understood it and were like, wow. I'm
Yeah.
like, see, I told you.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
it's just clean eating. It's, the fresh tomatoes, the fresh produce, the fresh fruit, the fresh fish coming out of right out of the sea right there.
Yeah.
I never had such fresh shrimp in my entire life, and we ate it just raw with a little lemon and salt. It was. Anyway, okay.
You just took me back. I get in his
Yeah,
eyes. I
I'm
saw
getting
he, like-
goosebumps. Oh,
It's
I want to go
actually
back.
kind of amazing when you think about how it works in the United States in comparison as far as regions go.
Okay.
We might have things specific to, a chili dog,
Yeah.
but it's not as extreme based on produce, and that's one of the things with Europe. It's like that you notice that, eggplants are so popular in this area, but they don't really use them down here because
Yeah.
they don't grow them.
Right.
And it's a
Right.
very strange world,
It is.
That is.
You're 100% right about
Yeah.
that, And I mean, even like going to the markets and things like that, the markets there are selling whatever the produce or whatever that's grown within a certain radius of where they are.
Yeah.
You're not getting stuff that's been, brought by truck for a week.
Yeah.
That's actually getting ripe on the truck to get to you. It's only what's there. So you're getting the ripest of ripe fruits and vegetables and just the most amazing product, I mean, you got the other fact that there's, GMOs are illegal there in Italy.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, everything you're getting is true, beautiful product.
And it's for the most. I mean, it's indigenous to that,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
It's not like
Yep.
someone brought that from
Right.
here
Right.
to grow here. It's just like that's just what's been grown
there
here
for hundreds and thousands of years.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that's a really good point too, Kelly, because like I feel like when I think of like Texas, I think of the barbecue,
Sure.
right? Like, or I think of Memphis, I think of the barbecue, right? Or Cincinnati with the three-way. Like, there's no it isn't produce focused. It's usually like sauce
and
or a seasoning.
it's still one of those things that I can still get that here. I can
Yeah.
still go to Little Miss Barbecue and have phenomenal barbecue.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like missing,
sure.
We
Yeah.
can get anything we want anywhere in the United States.
Well,
Yeah.
can you get that chili spaghetti stuff that they serve by you?
in Cincinnati, is that-
Do they have that
Chili
here?
or whatever?
Do they have that here?
I'm sure somebody does.
I don't want to try it. I'm just saying.
You don't want to try it?
No.
I don't. I
Chili
was
on
not a
pasta?
fan.
Come
No.
on.
No, I like chili on some hot dogs,
Yes,
like, dude, and
of
some
course.
French fries.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, but I was never a big fan of the Cincinnati three-way
No.
chili or
No,
whatever.
no.
But people, that's the region I grew up in, right?
Right.
Pittsburgh. Let's put French fries on a salad. Oh,
Yeah.
is that greens and tomatoes? Let's throw some.
I
fried
wanted to
potatoes on
circle
there.
back to that because that is becoming a very new trend
Is it?
that I have noticed a lot in Arizona. But it's not actually putting the French fries on, but you order a salad and a side of fries. And it is becoming so popular.
Really?
I don't even know why, but I'm telling you, if you Google it, it is such a huge thing.
Is it
where
a
Yeah.
order a salad
European
and a
thing?
side of fries.
And that they're doing that, and then that just moved here or
I
something?
don't know
or?
if it's a thing where it's like a half cheat.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to eat a salad and stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I also need
But I'm
the
gonna eat
fries.
fries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The half
I don't
cheat.
know, but I have noticed it becoming I really wanted to circle back to that.
Well, French fries on sandwiches.
For sure.
Right.
Yep.
That's
From Manny
that's
Brothers.
an Italian thing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that this past summer, too, and it was
Okay.
outstanding.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it would make sense because Cleveland, Pittsburgh has a huge
Yeah.
Italian population.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, that's probably, I mean, I don't know if it came from there or where, but yeah, French fries on sandwiches in Italy was a big thing this past summer when I was there.
Yeah.
And it
Parmesan Permane, bro.
amazing.
Permane sounds like an Italian name, right?
Yeah, sure.
Permane,
Of course, yeah.
So that's where it originated
Yep.
in Pittsburgh. And if you're going to Pittsburgh, you got to go to Permane Brothers and get, and obviously they've expanded and they've, franchised or whatever. So, you go to the OG one,
Right,
and
and
it's still legit, yeah.
Perfect.
Well, Kelly, so where are you from?
I'm a native to Arizona. I was
Okay.
actually born in Kentucky and
Okay.
then moved here as a child, but lived here most of my life, actually all of my life, and moved around a bit here and there, but I always come back. I'm always kind of stationed here. My mom's getting older.
Okay.
I don't want to move away. I'm afraid something could happen and I wouldn't be here and it would make me insane
Yeah.
because moms are the best.
For sure. They are.
1,000%.
Yep. So with food growing up, or
Yeah, there was a lot of food. My mom was born in Louisiana, so she's from that area, and my father was born in Kentucky. So there was always we always ate a lot of beef tongue, a lot of rabbit. There was always something. My father was very, very vegetable driven.
Okay.
He was always chopping, and he would have these big tumblers, these big blue cups, and he would just shove ice water and scallions and radishes and all this stuff in these cups. And so it's while you were eating dinner, you would just take 2 bites of your food, then you would start crunching on vegetables. And it was just this really,
awesome.
really,
Yeah.
And so there was always salt. You would just sprinkle salt on your vegetables and you'd sit there and eat all these raw vegetables. And so it was strange. My mom would go hunting, they were divorced. She would, when I was about 9, she brought home a rabbit and told me I could have it and cook it any way I wanted.
when you were 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to clean it and get all the buckshot out of it and everything like that. And so, yeah, it was just growing up and my mom was so amazing with food. Her food was next level. And so it was always this experience of learning that you were when you would eat, it wasn't hey, we're having dinner. It was you were eating going, what is going on? This is so delicious.
Yeah.
And I also grew up in the Barrio. So growing up in an all-Hispanic neighborhood, my mother became very close friends with all of these Hispanic women, and they would teach her stuff. So then she had this Mexican-influenced Louisiana thing going on that was just unbelievable,
That
next
sounds
level.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's 2 of my favorite too, Hispanic food and what is it, Creole or
Right,
Cajun
yeah.
and
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Interesting. So are there any dishes like that you've created that are a mix of the two? I don't want to say fusion because everybody says fusion these days.
No,
but
I don't really touch anything from that southern type
Okay.
cuisine. It's not really my thing. I've traveled all through Mexico. I've spent a lot of time there, so I do a lot of Mexican flavor. But yeah, I don't touch that, and I don't
Okay.
know why. It
Yeah.
just never appealed to me to go delving into that style.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Did I just inspire you? I just saw in his eyes.
I'm sitting there going, why not? Let's tap into this. Let's go.
Well, so all right. So obviously, Mom was a huge influence
Totally.
on food for you. Did you have a path? Was there you're I'm going to be a chef?
I don't think so. I think that it was something slow roll where I was doing things, and then one day it was I think that once you're doing it in the smallest increment where it's I'm slicing bagels, but then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, they're paying me to slice bagels. And so then all of a sudden you start realizing that you can get paid to do something that
Yeah.
you really, really love. And then you find out everybody obviously wants to get paid, but then you find out, oh my God, I would do this for free.
Yeah.
I would do this.
It's on tape. Just so everybody knows, it's on tape.
So it's one of those things.
I didn't hit record.
So you're just oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world, you know? And I it's something I would go home. If I wasn't doing it for a living, I would go home and just stay in the kitchen and do it. And, because it's your mental outlet, It's
Sure.
I don't enjoy painting, I don't enjoy yard work, but so you'll never see me doing it. But if it was sitting at home, I'd be I got to cook something.
Yeah.
It's that thing.
That's interesting. You said this before too, and it reminded me of in Kitchen Confidential, Anthony Bourdain's book, and he talked about how, when he got out of culinary school, he chased the paycheck. He got high-paying jobs, right? But he said it put him at a disadvantage because all of his friends were working for free at places to learn. Yeah, and he's and he was kind of he was at the mercy of a paycheck. And he made really good money, but other people were just I'll say volunteering, but basically volunteering at this really, really badass place, wash dishes to learn, that process. So that's interesting. Once again, to point out that he would do this for free,
which is on tape. I'm going to say it again. It's on tape. No, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I worked in a high-end restaurant to learn. I was getting paid $7 an hour.
Yeah.
But it was in New York. I lived in New Jersey at the time. I paid $4 to get over the bridge, and I paid $25 a day for parking. You do the math. I didn't make any money working at that job.
Yeah.
And it was brutal because I worked a lot of hours, got my butt handed to me on a daily basis, and if you screwed up, you didn't get family meal, and it was kind of brutal, and but I did it because I wanted to learn, and like I said, and on my days off, I would do the same thing. I'd go in and I'd work for free at all these different restaurants.
Yeah.
So he made a mistake doing that.
Sure. Yeah. And it was interesting that he pointed that out, right?
Sure,
because you
sure.
don't think of that aspect of it you would think that would be our nature is to typically is to go towards
chase the money.
It does
sure.
happen too. It's and you find it in the kitchen even today, where it's like you could hire a kid at $20 an hour, and if the place across the street offers them $20.05, they'll walk across the street.
Sure.
And it's a very strange world.
And it could be, a restaurant like this,
right,
as opposed to a restaurant that's doing, bag of food, cut it open, and just put it on a plate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that 5 cents makes a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of crazy because I don't see the passion and drive for the younger generation to want to really learn and be the next generation of chefs.
Okay.
It's not there right now.
So you're seeing that kind of
Oh,
dwindle.
yeah, we're seeing that
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Big time. It's scary, actually.
Is it because I guess the popularity of cooking shows and Hell's Kitchen and all that stuff of people like, oh shit, man, you get your ass kicked, and so they're kind of afraid of that, or what do you think it is?
Some of that, but I think and I'll go back again. I really think that, and I hate saying it this way, but I think the Food Network and all these TV shows ruined our industry.
Sure.
Just like MTV ruined the music business.
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, you hear a song on the radio and it was an amazing song, had a great groove, whatever it was, great chorus, anything.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's awesome. And then you look at them, you look at a picture, you see them in concert or whatever, you look at a picture and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
MTV created the image music.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be good at what you did,
Sure.
as long as you look good doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? David
Yeah.
Lee Roth used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not whether you win or lose, how good you look, honey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what it turned into. And the same thing happened with the Food Network. When the Food Network first came out, you had all these chefs on TV. You had Emeril, you had Bobby Flay that were doing actual cooking shows and showing you how to cook.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it went to, let's go to this, housewife lady who really doesn't know how to cook, but we're going to show her how to be a TV personality, because now
Sure.
that's all it is. It's full of personalities,
Yeah.
but not people that really know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
And
Right.
that set it back, because now everyone's chasing the fame as opposed to, wanting to be the best chef.
Sure. Honing the craft.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
They're losing the craft, if anything.
Yep.
Because they're just slapping ingredients together because, it's just the more the better. No, and that's not how it actually works, because that's what TV's showing them, that, if I could just be a personality on TV, then I made it.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Exactly. So.
Man, we need to change that. How do we change that?
Oh my God.
How do we change that?
If I could jar that information.
Right.
Well, so we'll come back to We're going to do a
Sure.
whole episode on how to fix the industry, right?
There's a lot that needs to be fixed, I can tell you that.
So Kelly, for you, did you then? What was the path from there? Did you go to culinary school?
Yeah, I did. I went to culinary school, and I started off after culinary school. It was I was married at the time, young, and I wasn't actually married. I was still dating the same person way before we got married. But it might as well have been a marriage, and so it was important for me to get a job where I had insurance and stuff like that, and I did, and so I went to the resorts.
Okay,
and that's when I found out I didn't belong there, because I am an HR nightmare. I am not.
I wouldn't get that. You're very nice.
That's not on tape. Edit.
Yeah,
I even got your face. We even got your face on camera.
Yeah,
You're
it's bad. I just say so many bad things. It's not good. So yeah, but it's all about having fun, and that's the most important thing in the entire world is how fun can you make the kitchen. And and I love my guys to laugh and like look around and think that they're having fun. They know they're having fun. It's a job. We got to do the job, but I don't want them to like stand there with their heads down in silence and pretend like this isn't a fun time, because it's actually a lot of fun.
That's one of the things I gotta interrupt you, Kelly, for a quick second. When it's a Saturday night and you're getting punched in the mouth and everybody's just working really hard, he always pulls it out and it just brings the kitchen up that next level. He always pulls that out. We're working, everybody's, we got all tickets on fire, flames, everything going on, and he's like, and you boys said you weren't going to have any fun tonight. And they crack that smile and it just elevates the kitchen, and I just love every second of that.
That's
because
awesome.
He's right.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with it. You know? Nobody's dying. Let's have fun. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that, hearing him say that, do that is the best. I love seeing that.
I like that. I like that. Well, let's take a quick break to get in a message.
I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Somm Journal. When it comes to wine education, the Somm Journal is the leading print publication in the nation. They provide a behind-the-scenes look at who's who and who's drinking what. It's read by decision makers at restaurants and retail wine shops. So if you want to learn alongside the experts, send your subscription request to subscriptions@sommjournal.com. That's SOMM journal.com.
All right, we're back, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit more, because that's the bringing joy and have people having fun is kind of the anti Hell's Kitchen, scream and yell and throw shit, and so that's I find that very interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I worked under a French chef for 2 years, and we would get into it, like I'm talking like. It was bad.
Yeah.
But,
like what? Please.
Oh my God. It was so great. So,
Fists
but like even to the night, like as we're just getting murdered, and I'd be like, I quit. I'm done. I'm not doing this. And he'd be like, oh, you're going to quit. What are you doing? So he would be yelling at me, and I would quit. And then all of a sudden the night would start slowing down a little bit. And it's like 2 tickets left, 1 ticket left. And all of a sudden he's like, do you want a beer? And I'm like, sure. He goes, you're not really quitting, right? So it's like, but it's the heat of the moment that creates this passion of just, come on, and you want to just want it to work. And you're trying so hard to make it work that it's so frustrating. And I came up my whole life like that. That was just, that's what I became.
Yeah.
I was 100% that in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's how, it's that same thing. You have like an abusive parent, and all of a sudden you're an abusive parent.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like coming up like that. And it took a lot to realize that, wait a minute, this entire industry is turning a corner where we're not that anymore. We can't, everybody is just taking like a slower, softer path. And you kind of have to, you kind of have to hug everybody.
Reel back a little bit, yeah.
Well, no, you do, because I mean, I came up the same way. I got dishes thrown at me. I got hot pans thrown at me. I mean, it was war.
Yeah,
in the kitchen. You're going to war, and I got yelled at and screamed at, and I cut myself so bad one time, and I went to my chef and I was like, I think I might need stitches. He's like, put tape on it, and get back to work. And I'm like, okay, and that's what you do. I mean, okay, and I became that chef too. Screaming and yelling and throwing things and just being a maniac.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it turns that corner. You get to a certain age too. You've been doing it long enough, and you're like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
This isn't. Why am I like this? Like, I shouldn't be like this. So you get to a maturity level, and not all chefs do this. Not some chefs out there are still crazy maniacs.
Yeah.
That's just in their being, I guess. But you get to a maturity level, and you're like, you know what? I need to be more of a psychologist, and I really need to read my staff and say, okay, well, this guy, he does need that kick in the pants in order to execute and be better.
Sure.
This guy needs to be more coddled. I need to talk to him like my little son or my brother or whatever, and be like, hey, okay, come on, man, I'm going to show you. Let's do it together. And you need to be a little bit more calming. You need to be a little bit more calculated in how you treat your staff as individuals.
Sure.
It's not just a group. Everyone did this wrong. No, it's not that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you need to really identify how they respond to your guidance as the coach.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part. And I think that's what keeps people staying at their jobs at this point in time. I mean, I have a lot of staff that's been here 7, 8 years, and we've only been open 10. So it took 2 or 3 years to find the right people.
Sure.
But then once I found the right people, and you treat them well, and you coach them, and you respect their opinions, and you do things together, they're going to stick around.
Yeah.
And that's great. I have 2 cooks that have been with me for 15 years. That came with me from other restaurants too. So that's
awesome.
That tells you a lot about me in a sense. You know what I mean? But it also tells you a lot about them too. That they work with me really well because they understand where I'm coming from. In the culinary world, but also on a personal level too.
For sure. Yeah.
You have to have that connection to your staff, otherwise it's just not going to work. And you can't be that raging maniac anymore.
Yeah.
That's counterproductive.
For sure. Yeah. Does it stem from kind of the French Brigade approach of
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you hear all these things and it sounds very military, right? Yeah. It's like
it is. Yes, chef,
down.
no chef.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, there was a movie with Danny Aiello. What was it called? I forget what. Anyway, the chef in that movie said to his staff, he goes, "There's only 3 things I want to hear out of your mouth: yes, chef, no chef, I don't know, chef. That's it."
Yeah.
And I worked for a lot of chefs that were exactly like that, whether they watched that movie or not.
Yeah.
But they said those same exact things to me, and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's you're scared at certain points. I burnt this. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How do I tell my chef that I burnt this? Or how do I just toss this and make another one or something?
Right.
But they're going to notice it, so it's like I don't want to get yelled at today.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's a tough industry. I mean, it's a tough industry now, even with as things are changing. But
now it's the opposite.
Sure.
Now it's soft.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's the part that
overcorrecting.
Way overcorrected. Because now, you can't even be like, hey man, I saw you do. Can you just go wash your hands really quick?
Yeah.
Did you just tell me to go wash my hands as if I'm not clean? I'm offended by that. And then they walk out. And it's like, I just said to wash your hands because I watched you touch something with your bare hands, and now you're going to go, you just wiped them and you're going to go work. No.
Yeah.
You can't say anything anymore. It's at that level now. And it's like 2 extremes. I was throwing plates at somebody, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now at this point, I can't tell you to wash your hands because you're offended and I'm a bad man and you're going to go to HR. Like, where's the happy medium now?
Sure. Yeah. Send him to
crazy.
Kelly. He's head of HR here now, right?
That's true.
Right?
Well, so where did we? Let's kind of bring it up to opening this spot.
Sure.
Was this the first spot? Because you have 3 spots right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Virtù
Honest Craft, and then Piccolo Virtù and Pizzeria Virtù.
Okay, and this was the first.
This is the first. Yeah, this is open 10 years this past year.
Yeah,
June 13th was our 10-year anniversary.
How did that happen? Because if I recall correctly, your oldest child is 9.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But 10, right? Your oldest child is 10. Right?
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So how did this place come about?
So this happened 7 years before.
Okay.
It was a trip to Italy with some friends, and we went and ate in all these little restaurants and things like that. And it was like, if I were to do something, I want it like this. I want to be able to change at the drop of a dime, and I want it to be small and intimate and just keep it going. You don't know what you're going to get that day because we're changing the menu daily. When we came to that point where we did open and we did start changing the menu daily, I was like, what am I, nuts?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, no.
Yeah.
So, but we do change the menu often. Like I was saying earlier, we might change a menu item twice in one day.
Yeah.
Because where it started and where it ends could be changed 2, 3, 4 times. You know what I mean? And so that's the fun of it, though. That keeps it exciting for the staff.
Yep.
Keeps it exciting for the guests because, they can come back twice a week, and have something totally different, which is great.
2 totally different things to choose from, too.
Right.
Not just like, oh, here's the special today, here's the special tomorrow.
Right.
It's like this whole thing could change.
Sure.
And yeah.
So when fast forward 7 years, and then my friend called me and said, hey, let's go check out this new little place in Scottsdale for breakfast. So we came, my fiance at the time, she wasn't my wife yet, we came for breakfast, and the owners of the place said, hey, you're a chef, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. I was at the airport at that time.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. And like, we own this place, but we're not chefs. What do you think about renting this place?
Yeah.
So I was like, I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm just having breakfast.
This spot. This spot. It was a breakfast spot.
It was like it was a lot smaller than it is right now, and it was like maybe, I don't know, 20 seats total.
Gotcha.
And the owners of the actual inn at that time, they were trying to do breakfast and like some lunches and things like that for their guests of the inn. And I was like, I didn't even think about it. I want to just eat my breakfast and be on my way, you know? And then my friend, Mark, he turned to me and was like, you know, if you want to do it, you should do it. And I'm like, I'm just eating breakfast. Everybody relax, you know? But then I started looking around going, you know what? If I were to do something, it would be a small place like this, you know? And then went home and I spoke to my wife and she's like, well, if you want to do it, I got your back.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Well, shit, now I got to do it.
I was like, yeah, now I have to do it.
Can't you just say no?
But then, you know, I called them back, and within a month we had a signed lease. I gave my notice at the airport, and we opened up 2 months later.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really quick.
Yeah.
It was really quick.
That's really quick. Yeah.
And then we opened up to gangbusters. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, we got every accolade you could think of. We were the most awarded restaurant in 2013 and 14 in Arizona.
Nice.
It was insane, the response we got for it. So,
well, how do you start? Like, so, and that idea was still in your mind as to what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh yeah, this looks like a great spot. What should we put here? You already knew.
I already knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And were you already kind of working on a menu of sorts?
I mean,
or an
I was
approach?
still always, like, Kelly has his book, and he
Yeah.
writes ideas in it all the time. I was doing the same thing. You know, I'd have a book and I'd write things. You know, I would save it till I got home or whatever, and I would just write in my book, and what if you want to call it a journal or whatever. But I always had ideas.
Your diary.
Yeah, my diary.
Gio's diary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The lock and everything on it. But you know, and it was, you know, I mean, the name was, I had the name already from 7 years ago in Italy, and you know, and so it was all there, it was all ready to go, it was all packaged and ready to go.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity came, I just ran with it, and here we are 10 years later.
Yeah.
So with 3 restaurants now too.
Excellent. Yeah. So the menu really intrigues me, right? Because you know, you hear stories of people being, oh, where's the chicken sandwich? I get that every week.
We've never had chicken on the menu.
No chicken?
Never.
Wow.
Never.
Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. As a rule, did you have like some bad experience with some chickens as a kid? Or?
No, not at all. I just you can get chicken anywhere.
Sure.
I want to be something different.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be something different, you know. So if we're gonna do, you know, we'll do guinea hen, or we'll do, you know, from Two Wash Ranch because it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do stuff like that. But you know, I have duck on the menu, whatever. But I mean, it's no chicken.
Yeah.
If you know, if it's specific to a party where they're like, okay, hey, we got 30 people coming in, but you know, can we do chicken on the menu? Sure, I'll do it.
Sure.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. I eat chicken all the time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't have chicken on the menu. There's, you know, I try to keep it different.
Yeah. So. What, Kelly? Can I see one of those menus?
100%.
So you open up and you get all these accolades. What do you think attributed to that? Like what brought that on?
We did it right.
Okay. Yeah.
We did it right.
What's that mean? Like,
you
because
know,
this is going out. This is like for all the restaurants out there. How do you do it right?
You know, we focused completely on the quality of the food, but we packaged it with an experience.
Okay.
You know, we made sure that there's certain steps and certain ways of handling and doing our front of the house.
Okay.
How we deliver the food to the table, how we explain the food, because there's a lot of Italian words on the menu and everything. And I wanted that for the reason that it sexes up the menu in a sense.
Sure.
But it also opens up a talking point for the servers at the table, you know, because not everybody can read Italian, you know, but the education part of teaching the servers how to wow the guests in a sense, you know what I mean, was the most important part, because, you know, we don't have customers, we have guests.
Yeah.
You know, and they're guests in my home, and I'm going to treat them that way too. And, you know, there's certain times that we will do that where, you know, oh, that's all they ordered? Send them something else. You know what I mean? We're going to feed you. You know what I mean? But you know, that was the motive. That was the whole idea of creating a dining experience from soup to nuts. You know, from the minute you walk in the door till the minute you leave, I want you to feel like you're not in Scottsdale, Arizona anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the south of France. You're in Italy. You're in a villa in Italy, and you're eating with family and friends, and you're having the time of your life. You know, forget everything you walked in with, you know, and leave going, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that, you know, so we did everything we could to create that environment. And, you know how when people say to you, when you're on the telephone call and you know, smile, because they can hear that smile
Yeah.
on the other side of the phone.
Yep.
That's what we try to, portray as the service, our hospitality.
Yeah.
Smile.
I dig it.
Just be great at the table.
What helps when you got Kelly in the kitchen telling
does.
everybody to smile, right?
1,000%.
Yeah.
It's true because you could taste it.
Sure.
You could taste the happiness.
Yeah.
On the plate. You
Yeah.
can. I mean, I describe my food. I might have to change it now because of that, but I always describe the food as Van Halen meets Mozart. It's a really, really loud symphony with attitude on a plate.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
But maybe now it's more. It's just it's happy. It is.
Yeah.
It is. There's a difference.
It's a happy meal.
Happy meal.
I can't use that. We can't use that.
Oh,
We'll get
patent
sued by
pending.
Mickey D's.
You could do a really badass Happy Meal.
Yeah.
With a nice wooden
Right.
box.
Yeah.
With,
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So who is your Eddie Van Halen? So Eddie Van Halen is his
yeah.
hero.
Oh man,
who is
do I have one? I mean, are we talking just in music?
anything?
Well, because he's a guitar player too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But we're completely different. He's flamenco. I'm rock.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who I would choose. I know that for years and years, I'm talking like 20, 25 years, so up since I was 5. 20, so about 20, 25 years. I always said I would grow up to be Joe Strummer.
Okay.
Really?
He was like, he's like. the
Well, that's a far
man.
cry from flamenco, huh?
Yeah, it is. But he was always like the, oh my God, Joe Strummer.
Yeah.
So
Joe
he-
Strummer. I know that
He's
name.
the Clash, the
Okay,
singer and the
okay.
guitarist
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
Clash. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of a hero.
That is different from flamenco for sure.
Way
But it makes sense. The more I know about Kelly, the more that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But he's also super like pro human,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that, I kind of like that spirit about him.
I like it. So I want to move on to the other concepts that you have, but
Yeah.
for Virtù, Kelly, how did you? I heard the story from Gio about you joining on. Tell me about you, because you've been a legend in this food scene for a long time. How did it end up that you came here?
I think out of exhaustion, in a sense, it was something that I've obviously always admired Gio and his work, and we're kind of like colleagues in the scheme of things. Where
The whole 7 Chef thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all together in that.
so going through all of that, and I honestly do. So also in heavy alcoholism, I was very, very bad, very bad.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time to, and this is going to be something, and I'm telling you right now, this is no lie. I can assure you, it goes into music, it goes into cooking, it goes into a lot of things that people believe that drugs or alcohol is their inspiration for what they find. So I would get as blackout drunk as I could get, and I would just write menus.
Yeah.
And I would write 20 menus in a night. I would wake up the next day and some of it wasn't legible and whatever. And I would just go, oh my God, that's great. This is terrible. This is great. And so I would sit there and pick it apart until I had one solid menu. And so my whole life, I always thought that alcohol was like the thing that would trigger me to do that.
Yeah.
And then I quit drinking 2 years ago. And then I found out it wasn't alcohol and that I was actually excelling and becoming even better than I ever was because I could be more focused. And 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have never worked with Gio because, not because I wouldn't have, but I don't think he would have me the way that I was. I was just absolutely self-destructive. And, but then I think that he saw the growth and saw something happening that was a little bit different than what he had ever known of me. Yeah. And I think that that's when, and we talk about it all the time, like, I'll say things like, oh my God, I'm going to get off work, I'm going to have a whiskey. And he'd be like, I'll kill you. So it's like, I would never do it. I would never have a whiskey. Yeah. But yeah, it's that thing.
It's great you could joke about it.
Yeah.
And congratulations on that, man.
I
That's a huge
appreciate it.
step.
I appreciate it. It was huge. It was a lot, but it was great. And then I felt very embraced, that I was starting to find footwork and more of a home, someplace where I could go, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is comfortable. And to also be with somebody that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And, it's very much like a marriage. You have to stay happy, be happy, and listen.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We're always like communicating and the
We're always throwing
collaboration.
ideas at each other, which is great.
Yeah.
The collaborations are always fantastic. It's great. I don't want I don't want to be a single man show when I have that much talent next to me. I'm not going to stand stage front. If I can have somebody that go, dude, we got that. And so it just makes everything better, easier.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, and that comes with experience. It comes with age of, and it's like, all right, we don't have, sometimes we feel we can carry the whole weight of everything.
Right.
You want to, right? You want to, whether it's control or whatever it is. And then you start to kind of let loose of some things like, this is actually nice.
But I trust them. And that's that's a huge thing too, and I can say, hey, Kelly, I got to spend next week at the pizzeria because I'm changing menu there or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
And he's making changes here. I know his ability. I know where he is, in the culinary world, and I know, and I trust his ability.
Yeah.
And I trust he's going to represent what Virtù is.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to worry about it and go, oh, I hope he puts something good on the menu.
Yeah.
I know it is.
For sure.
So I don't have to worry about that. And that's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders.
That's like, I mean, can you imagine having like, a 3-week-old child and handing it to somebody going, watch this for me. You're like surrendering.
Well, if it was me, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah. But it's just funny as a chef, giving something up like that where you're like, can you just do this?
Yeah.
I'm leaving. That's tough. I mean,
Sure.
I've had restaurants. It is so tough. I have a very hard time disconnecting from things. And a lot of friends would tell me, you need to just let them do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot just walk away.
It's hard.
And
it's very hard. But, I have the confidence in you and, and Kelly's abilities that I know that I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it.
Yeah.
And you can't put a price on that.
For sure.
You can't,
sure.
even though he works for free.
That's true.
Starting now. Starting today. He works for free.
Well, I mean, as I look at this menu, man, I mean, this is incredible. I mean, the lamb tartare and bluefin tuna, beef cheek, sea bass, duck. Like, this is just...
It's different.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, everything just sounds, and everything is craft too. That's what I like. Signature craft, crafty small bites, craft of pasta, craft of the plate.
Well, that was the whole thing because, I mean, when we opened this restaurant, there was a movement that was happening for several years at that point in time of, this molecular gastronomy stuff, which I find fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it,
Yeah.
but I find it fascinating, and it's great. And everyone that does it, more power to you. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Great. But, in the tagline of the name, Vitrù Honest Craft, I wanted to bring honesty back to the craft of cooking.
Yeah.
I don't want smoke and mirrors. I don't want something that's going to come to the table and look like an egg yolk and I'm going to taste it. Oh, that's, mango.
Yeah.
Great. That's great. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to actually cook. We wanted to cook things. I don't want to hold things in a siphon, and we want to cook.
Yeah.
From scratch, everything. And then, moving forward, same thing with our bar program. We wanted to bring honesty back to the craft of the cocktail.
Yeah.
And then same thing with our wine list. Our wine list is very, very much, Michael Coates's doing a fantastic job with that, and he's doing more boutique, small batch wines and things like that. And it's amazing, and people are like, they come, oh, I want the silver oak or whatever the heck they were, and it's like, no, try this, and they're like, oh, wow, that's way better than I could have ever imagined. And it's like, yeah, open your eyes to there's other things, and so that was the whole reason for the name too, with the honest craft behind the Virtù. The Virtù is the Machiavellian term for a leader to have all the attributes to achieve greatness.
Ooh, okay.
And so that's what we try to do on a daily basis.
I dig that. And I mean, that's truly guiding the experience, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys are the experts in this, and as the guest, you come in, and it's not like as the guest, like you want to go and say, here's what I want. I want this, I want this, I want this. Well, it's like we've honed this, we've crafted this whole menu,
1,000%. But we're also basically educating a lot of people too, because we're using a lot of different ingredients that people have never used here in the Valley either, or have eaten. There's a lot of things, maybe not so much on this menu today, but in menus coming in the future, menus that we've done in the past, there's things that we're introducing to people.
Yeah.
And I mean, same thing, like we have the biggest Amaro selection in Arizona.
Oh,
wow. We have, I forget how many we have, upwards of 180 or something like selections and stuff like that. But, when we first started that whole program, you had maybe like 3 that people would have on their back bar, and I was like, there's so many more. No, let's work on this program. So I worked with our director of ops, Fernando Bambarin, and our beverage director, Jeremy Key, and said, hey guys, let's get this. Let's go after it. Get make them, bring them in if they don't have them. Let's get this going. And I went to a place in New York called Amore Amargo, which is an Amaro bar. They make all their cocktails with Amaro and things and it was like, I want to do this at this bar. You know, can we do that, guys? Can we do that? And they're like, sure as heck can. And so it's been awesome to watch the development of the cocktail program. To watch the development of the wine program, and to be all encompassing, where as a whole, our guests will really get everything. And that's awesome
for sure. I dig it. I mean, California Sun Has Sunk. That's a great name for a cocktail. But you don't really ever see tequila and mezcal in the same. It's either one or the other. Right. Which I don't know. What does they say? All tequila is mezcal. All mezcal is not tequila, or something like that. Yeah. I've been told it many times. I should remember by now. But no, this whole menu is just incredible. And what is the craft of the prefix? Is that how you say?
Yeah. So right now we're doing. Coming out of the pandemic, we did a prefix menu just to help us get through. Okay. And then we continued that on. We're doing a la carte and prefix. So if you want to just do a 3-course prefix menu where you're selecting from these 3 things, you can. But you're getting an amuse, you're getting an intermezzo, and you're getting a dessert with it, and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's making it more. It's easier for the guests to navigate if you want. Sure. Otherwise, you can just do straight a la carte and be fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm ready for us to start taking pictures so I can eat some of this stuff on the sly. So real quick before we wrap this up, the other spots that you have here in town.
So Pizzeria Virtù is the next in line. Okay. Pizzeria Virtù is over on Main Street off of Goldwater, right down the road from the Valley Ho. Okay. It is an authentic Neapolitan style pizzeria. I'm VPN certified. The restaurant is next to get certified as a whole. Okay. So I taught my pizzaiolo people how to do it the authentic traditional Neapolitan way. There's certain laws, I guess you can say, that you have to follow in order to be VPN. Okay. And so I've always been a proponent of tradition. Okay. I love that, and I want to continue that tradition and speak the word of the tradition of Neapolitan pizza. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's the best. Yeah. I love all the other styles of pizza. They're all amazing, but for me, that's what I grew up on. That's what I was around my whole life, and that's what I want to stick to. Yeah. So that pizzeria has its classics that you need to have, like the margarita, the marinara, and all that stuff. But then we play with it and make it Virtù style with everything else. Okay. So we can have some fun pizzas and things like that. And the same goes for there. It doesn't change as often as here. Yeah. But I'll change the menu there every couple of months just to have some fun with it and keep it fresh and keep it Virtù, if you will.
I dig it.
And then Piccolo Virtù is on the other side of Scottsdale Road. That one is more. It's called Little Virtù. We are doing more like crudo selection, stuff like that. We're doing more large format entrees for like bigger groups in a sense. We have a 55-ounce porterhouse, bistecca fiorentina. We do whole roasted fish. We do a whole roasted little piglet, eighth town piglet. But it just that keeps it fun too, and it's more of a fun, lively type restaurant. Yeah, and it's great.
Nice, man. Nice. Kelly, are you planning on expanding to those other ones as well, or are you just...
No, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I just live in my cave, I just do what I do.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cave. Beautiful cave you guys really have here.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I say, so when we're doing the magazine and our writers, send us their stories, Luke and his wife Paige and myself, we proofread everything and read it multiple times. Your article that I think it was Allison, right? Allison Balin?
I believe so.
Yeah. Was it Allison, Luke, that did their article?
Marcy. Oh, that's right. It was Marcy.
Okay, Marcy.
Right,
Shout out to Marcy.
Right, yes.
I read through that. I'm like, these 3 spots are on my list now. I got to go to these places.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued by you and your spots just by reading our magazine. So I guess shameful plug for our magazine.
No,
it was
absolutely.
she did a great job writing
Yeah.
the story, and it's been an honor to meet you. And
it's been great. Thank you so much.
Great to meet you again too, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
yeah.
you for your time.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day,
Yes.
and thanks again for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Somm Journal. When it comes to wine education, the Somm Journal is the leading print publication in the nation. They provide a behind-the-scenes look at who's who and who's drinking what. It's read by decision makers at restaurants and retail wine shops. So if you want to learn alongside the experts, send your subscription request to subscriptions@sommjournal.com. That's SOMM journal.com.